Hello. So I thought I would talk about another couple common dog problems that people have with their training or with the dog that they live with, whatever. Because we all love our dogs, but we want to really like them as well, like I do with this guy who is obsessed with me. I don't know who he thinks I'm talking to, I'll say it again, but every time I start talking to the camera, making a YouTube or whatever, he's like, hi, I'm also the star of the show, probably more so than anything else. So I made a few notes here. So what I'm going to touch upon first of all is reliable recall. If your dog doesn't come back to you, you don't have recall. If sometimes they come back to you, you don't have recall. What you have is a suggestion. When there's nothing else going on, so many people say to me, well, when there's no distractions, then my dog comes back. That's not recall. This is no shame on anybody, but that's just reality. That is how it is. So what I find with the dog walking business, at the point I'm at now, there's one dog on lead, and I walk a lot of dogs. So he's got some sort of fear-based something. I'm not sure if it's the location. So he's not a training client, he's a walking client. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. I haven't really assessed him properly. So out of all the dogs that I walk, there's one on lead. He comes back for his dad, so if he doesn't come back to me, it doesn't matter. I'm just a dog walker, so fine. The rest of them, if they haven't had reliable recall when they started, my main focus is to get that recall on, because I want to be hands-free every single walk. So the main thing to do is find out what is reinforcing for that dog. What do they find most rewarding? An easy example is like Labradors. They want food. No, they're not all fat bastards, but you know what I mean. They are hungry all the time. Red Honey, don't do that. Red Honey, don't come sit here. Come on. Okay, there we go. Must be my skin. So with him, he wants to play, he wants to eat. There's not really much he doesn't enjoy doing. He doesn't like meeting strange dogs, I'll tell you that. So what I did with him was we played so much on every single walk, almost. Of course, he's had a few, not many, but he's had a few. Right, we need to just quickly. You need to do the toilet. I need to go, or whatever walks. Because in my job, that's not really been the case. Before I started dog walking, I had a dog walker, so he's kind of always had that outlet. She is also a trainer now, so she taught him pretty good recall. I did it after working at the weekends, so it's finding out what he likes. So I guess I cheated. So Red's almost 5. When he was little, I cheated a bit with the squeaky ball in my pocket. He's a collie, so he doesn't really have, they're not really known to have the kind of possession over toys that some other breeds like Spaniels and Shepherds can do. So he always just dropped the ball. He wanted me to throw it, so I never had to have 2 balls with me. I remember when I thought I had taught him good recall, because he came back every single time. He was like 7 months old. Adolescence hit him like a ton of bricks. He acted like he didn't know his name. He absolutely didn't know what come meant. And if I hadn't had a squeaky ball that day, fuck knows where he would have went. He would have off ski. I don't know. We were in a big woodland, so no thanks. I'll play later. Can I have that? Thank you, honey. We'll play later. So yeah, so it's finding out what your dog finds most rewarding and using that. In the meantime, they need to be on a flexi or a long line. If you don't trust that they'll come back, you have to use those tools. You have to. I know people have high energy dogs. Most dogs have loads of energy, but we know like the Spaniels, those kind of things, they have higher energy than they need to get, that they need to release. It's important to teach dogs with high energy. Every dog should really be off lead once their recall is reliable, not before then, because we want to keep everybody safe. Not everybody likes dogs. Not every dog likes strange dogs. Some dogs are very friendly with dogs coming up to them. I know my dog doesn't like that. My mum likes dogs-ish, but she doesn't really like any dog apart from like family dogs. So she wouldn't like a dog running up to her like, oh, hi, I'm your friend. No thanks, I've got enough friends. So in order to stop ourselves from being a nuisance, no thanks, we need to teach them reliable recall. With Spaniels, I found, so I'm going to generalize because this is just what I've experienced. A breed like a Spaniel is not always super into food. Labradors are so easy to train recall. Anything, you can, bananas, whatever, and then you just give them a biscuit and then they're like, well, I'm not leaving your side ever again, which is good. So they're super easy. Collies, I find to be off lead very quickly as well, because they've got that kind of stay with the shepherd mentality kind of thing. Spaniels tend to like playtime. That's not always appropriate in something like what I do with the group walks, but playtime with their owners, or, you know, if you've got multiple dogs, that's fine, whatever. It just can lead to fights sometimes. Or cuddles. Cuddles are free and you'll never run out of them. I taught one dog, hi Kimberly, haha, reliable recall, her spaniel, with cuddles. And she comes back every time. She said little blips, yeah, and then we'll have a little timeout on the lead, or she goes back to a long line or whatever. But really 99% of the time that I've had her, it's no problem. She comes back all the time. She doesn't really want to leave water. That's okay. She's a spaniel. They're born to be dirty, really. With other breeds, it can be tricky, because if they are, not necessarily other breeds, other kind of dogs, if they love people, love other dogs, it can be difficult. You don't want to train that out of them ever, because that's such a lovely quality. I used to wish when Red was younger that he was more friendly, because when you have, he's not reactive anymore, but when he was, it was like, oh, looking around every corner, oh no. But for the dogs that are friendly, every day is a party. The problem is you're not always the host of that party. So you're just dreading seeing someone for a different reason than I was dreading seeing somebody, because your dog's gonna do something that you don't really want them to do. It's just, my dog's a killer, haha, he's not really killed anything. He's not killed anything, he's not really killed it, he's not killed anything. He's had a few fights, whatever. But you don't want your really friendly dog to be going up to a dog that may not be friendly. Like, you're just, are they gonna get attacked? Are they not gonna get attacked? So you then need to become fun. I think that trainer, Zach George, maybe it wasn't him, said, be sexier than a squirrel. No. You just need to have fun with your dog. You need to play with them. That's why play is so important. I think I said that last time. So if we play with our dogs, they're always going to be like, everything mom and dad does is so fun. Good stuff happens every single time I come back. So why wouldn't I come back? So if you're training recall, you would do reward every single time, then every other time. Then you would do it kind of sporadic, so they wouldn't really know when it was going to come. I had to do that with a border terrier, reward him every single time he came back. Whoa, Party, you're so clever, good job. And he would come back every single time. It is a reflex for him to come back. He does have recall. But I thought, gosh, am I going to have to like have biscuits every single time I see him? No. I just started fading it out to see if his recall would get any worse. It didn't. I can't remember the last time I gave him a treat. And he still comes back every single time, because now it's ingrained in him. We need to do stuff, I think, 10,000 times for them to really, without any aversive control, purely positive, it's about 10,000 reps with kind of like punishment or whatever if they didn't come back, like, well, now you're on a short lead, or now playtime's over kind of punishment. It's in the hundreds, the reps are in the hundreds. You wouldn't be teaching recall with something like an e-collar anyway. They'd need to know the behavior before that was placed in them. But if you were going to perfect that, then it's like in the tens. Like, it doesn't take that many reps. But most people will do it the fun way, because recall is a fun thing to train. So yeah, find out what is most reinforcing for your dog and use that as payment. If it's food, and you don't want to be buying bags of those WAG treats, they're fine obviously, but they're higher in calories than their normal food. Start using their food. Labradors will eat anything. One Labrador I was with today was eating dirt. So I mean, that's really easy. If they like to play, take a tuggy toy. Then you're involved in that play, and you're not just launching the ball mindlessly and the dog's becoming like a rapid athlete that's gonna have gigantic muscles or whatever. So yeah. So if there's any other questions on that, you can send me a message. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is nervous dogs and like building their confidence and stuff. So I got, excuse me, a Romanian foster in September. It was kind of like a whirlwind thing, because the other foster was threatening to euthanize her for fucking what I do not know, because she's like the sweetest thing ever. She doesn't do anything. She's just, well, she was just, sorry, frog in my throat. She was just scared. So what behaviors would she have been exhibiting to make her a candidate for euthanasia? I don't know. Ugly baby judges that bitch, I tell you that, whatever. So she came to me very quickly. I had like 2 days notice or whatever. Didn't leave her crate for, I don't know, she left her crate to pee. I wasn't in the room. She left her crate to eat, but I wasn't in the room. So I had to build up all these things very slowly. No, that's not going to be the case for people that have nervous dogs. But I can tell you a few things to build their confidence if you have, let's just, for lack of a better word, a British nervous dog. One that you've had from a puppy, or you rescued from this country that's basically been around humans and like our kind of lifestyle its whole life, whether that be with you or with a previous owner. I've had Red since he was a puppy. He was a pretty nervous dog. I mean, collies aren't known for their like confidence or whatever. So, I had to build his confidence, and I had him since he was 7 weeks old. Things like, if there is, most dogs will be used to stairs. So they understand the motion. That's the picture in their head. I go up and I go down. That's fine, that's normal. But things like, so I used to take some of my clients to the range, take them to the garden bit, and see if the dogs would stand up on the pallets. They're like this high off the ground. That's not. But some dogs are like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. Why? There's nothing scary about that. But it builds their confidence for whatever reason. It just does. Thank you. Your nose is so cold. That hurts. No thanks. I'm already freezing. So you would get them to go up onto different heights. I've taken Red to the playground before. There's quite a lot of things that are wobbly there. The seesaw, the kind of toddler, kind of, like the back and forth thing. I don't know what they are, but, I don't know the name for it. But, the things that move back and forward, take them there and just get him to pause up on the thing. Even the dogs that I've walked their whole life almost, since they were old enough to come out, are like, I can't possibly do that. There's no way on earth. I'm not really going to make them do it. With training clients, yes, I would make them do it. Lead pressure on until they do it. And no, that's not cutting off the breathing. No, it's just pressure on. You want to turn the pressure off, then you can just be brave and do the thing. So I had started out with the wobbly things. As soon as it, and I'm not sitting shaking it like that. You're just moving it very slightly. Just so there's a little movement. They're a little off kilter. But then it's okay. Then you stop. Yay, good job. Food or play or cuddles or whatever your dog's reward is. I saw something on Facebook, some dog going down a slide, and I thought, that's so funny, I'm gonna get Red to do that. No, no way. He was so scared to go up there. He didn't want to touch, he didn't like the feeling of the slide. I didn't make him do it. I just stood there until he did something, kind of like Shaping. When he kind of interacted with the slide, he got his ball, or he got to play tuggy or whatever. Nice and easy, that's fine. So then you can do the swings. This isn't something to do when there's children playing in there, but most of the time in this weather, they're kind of empty, so it's fine. Get the swings, very slightly moving them. So it's basically telling the dog stuff can happen out of the ordinary, no thanks, and it's okay. You can get through it, even though you're stressed right now, push through it and you'll be better. And they almost always are. They almost always are. They always are. We know it's safe for them. Making them pause up on, I don't know, like a roundabout thing. I don't know if that's what they're called, but you know the things that move around. I've had Red jump up on that because he knows the drill at this point. And you move it like, you're walking about half a mile an hour, just walking around, but it's moving. And he's like, oh. And then I'll be like, okay, good job. And then he'll jump off, he'll get his ball. So it's fine. So yeah, he's a little stressed, right? Is that what you want? You want this thing? Right. I'm thinking he's trying to be affectionate. No, he isn't. He wants his toy. I'll play with you in a wee minute, hen. Later. So it's gotten to this stage now that, you know, I kind of joke on Facebook, oh, Red can climb trees. He can climb trees. There was like a big tree. The logs are, the branches are massive, but there's quite a gap in the middle. So he knows climbing, that's the command. So I said to him, climbing. Couldn't do it, it was too high. It was like 6 foot off the ground. And I was like, okay, good job, whatever. Then we were alone a couple of days later or whatever. So I just placed his ball in that gap. He climbed that tree that day because he wanted something that was there. He went around it a couple times, but he didn't start barking at me or whining or looking to me like, help me, mama, or whatever. He just figured it out. I need to jump high to get it. So he jumped high to get it. There we go. Shit, he can climb trees, he's a little monkey. So it's just that me doing all the playground stuff might seem stupid, like it doesn't really matter, but that has taught him problem solving, which is good. So this foster dog that I've got, one of my friends said she'll be good at problem solving already because you have to be on the streets, which I'd never really thought of before, which is true. So there's been a few times that there's been a log in our way. We could have gone around it, sure, but I made her jump over it. Because why not? There's an obstacle in your way, you need to overcome it. You can't be avoiding stuff all the time. If she starts acting skittish around people that I know are not going to approach her, especially, I'm there. If they were to, no thanks, we're not doing that. I wouldn't be rude or, not all the time. But, I'm there to be like, no thanks, we're doing some training. Don't worry about it. So, but if she's freaking out that there's people there that aren't really that close to her, I mean, they're like 10 foot away, that's not a threat. I can gauge what's a threat and what's not a threat. I'm telling her that's not a threat, but I can't communicate that to her. She just has to sit in that discomfort. So making them do safe, uncomfortable things will build confidence 100% of the time. If they are reactive, it's a little different. If it's other dogs that make them reactive, and you're standing there, this dog's going mental at you, and your dog's like, oh, you need to pull back a bit. If you're like half a football pitch away and another dog's going mental, I think that's a pretty safe distance. That's the controlled exposure. So we know what's safe for our dogs and what they can be around and not hurt themselves. Like Red putting his paw up on a seesaw. He's not going to hurt himself there. There's no kids around. We're not bothering anybody. I'm just moving it a bit. He doesn't know what I'm doing. he never knows what the fuck I'm doing, but that's okay. Because now he can think, right, she said do something. Okay, I'll just figure it out. So he understands now, can you try? No, he doesn't speak English. He almost does. But he understands that when I say that, it means, you know, give it a go. Why not? And then as soon as he did, fuck, he must have jumped about 8 foot in the air today to jump in a tree. I didn't know if he could do it. I just asked him to try. Now I can try. And he did it. And I was like, whoa, massive party for Red. And you can see he's so happy when he does stuff. So things, I remember when we did agility, he didn't want to go up the A-frame, you know, the thing like, and down. He was scared to go up that high. Nothing's going to happen to him. You know, he's on a lead, and if he was to slip or whatever, I would have caught him, or whatever, you know, they don't put it up like that to start off with, it's like that, but he still didn't want to do it. But you know, you kind of compel them in a positive way, whatever, to be like, you can do it, it's okay, you'll be fine, trust me. And then afterwards, when they do it, you're like, wow, look at you. And dogs love that shit. They love that shit. So do it more often. How often are we praising the little things? If you've got a really good dog, then how often are you praising them? If you've got an annoying dog, probably even less. It's so important to recognize the wins. So these kind of things that you can try, these little activities, it's an easy way to gauge growth in your dog by doing that. We don't want to say, I used to have a client that said, oh, he's just anxious, that's who he is. I'm not having that. No, that's not a life to live. They don't live anywhere near as long as us. We need to do what we can to give them the best life possible. If they get what, like an 1/8, if we live till 80, like an 1/8 of our life, that's annoying. I don't want to talk about it. But so why would we not do all we could to make them happy, confident, resilient dogs that we want to be around and that want to be around us? We definitely don't want them, oh, sometimes they come back, sometimes they don't, whatever. No, yeah, my dog comes back every single time and he can climb trees. That's my flex, and that's fine. You want to have that good companionship and stuff like that. And if you're kind of safely compelling them to do things that might scare them, oh my goodness, then that's only going to build your bond stronger. It will not put the dog off you, because when the dog has its like praise party, Red, honey, stop it. When you have like a little party when the dog has accomplished something, you can see how proud they are of themselves. Like even something, one client had their dog jump on like a few bags of sand, like a little sausage dog. It got little legs, so she kind of used lead pressure, only a couple seconds, and he was up, and she was like, good job, and the dog was like, oh my goodness, what did I do? That was amazing. I'm so smart. And now when I'm out walking, he jumps on stuff all the time, because he had that reaction from a human before. He's like, oh, that's obviously the right thing to do, is jump on stuff. Why would I not do that? And it's not going to translate to, if you don't want them on the couch, they're going to jump on the couch, whatever. That's an obedience thing. That's not this. So it's, if your dog seems fearful of something and we know it's safe, maybe take a couple steps back and let's just hang around this thing. Red did it one time with a bunch of feathers. I absolutely 100% sure know that those feathers weren't going to hurt him. So we stayed there. I think I was there for like 25 minutes or 30 minutes. And just hung out by the feathers, whatever. I have nothing else to do because he's my whole life. So stood there. He did not want to approach. I threw a couple treats near them. Not interested. No. Doesn't care. I threw his ball near them. He started to approach. And then when he did, I was like, look at you. Super. And then we left. That's all he had to do. I just wanted him, if you're scared of something, interact with it. If it's safe, then there we go. That's perfect. That's all you need. It's just showing them, you can do it. I believe in you, basically. And then the dog will believe in themselves. Having a calmer, happy dog that's better to be around. than a little shaken, oh, everything's an enemy. No, thanks, I'm not doing that. Okay, so that's all I had to say. If you have any more questions about what I just said, or what any more tips or whatever, then just shoot me a message. Probably gonna try and do this every Wednesday at this time. I'll have a couple more things to talk about next week. But if there's something else you want me to talk about, then just shoot me a message. If you want to text or whatever, my number is on the Facebook page, or you can just message me on here, and I can add that in as well. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.